Miami University is attended by over 15,000 students each year. This August, 4,000 students arrived on campus for their first year at Miami as the freshman class of 2029, and the senior class who will be graduating this May contains almost 5,000. We spoke to two of these students to discover the differences in the lives of incoming freshmen, as opposed to seniors who are saying their last goodbyes.
It took a while to settle in. My freshman year, I came here without doing any tours or any orientation, so I came here basically blind, didn't had random roommates, things like that. And I almost transferred out because it just didn't go well. But I think sophomore year, once I started to put myself a little more out there, I joined probably 5 new clubs. I got more involved with the newspaper. I started taking more opportunities to be outside of my dorm. It made me feel, I don't know if belong is the right word, but more comfortable just being on campus. Being more willing to say yes to things that I'm not particularly comfortable with. I'm a very anxious person in general, and getting out of my comfort zone helped a lot. I would say I'm completely different. I would hope so. There's a lot of things freshman year that I'm not particularly proud of how I acted or how I felt. And it took a while, like I said. Probably last year was when I really started to get more comfortable, but I'm a completely different person. I am not home like ever, compared to freshman year. I was in my dorm if I wasn't in class every single day. Now I'm barely home at all, just going out and doing things. I changed my major and I realized I have different priorities for what I wanted to do career wise. And that led to me meeting new people, learning more about myself, of what I like to do. So I think 18-year-old me would not recognize current me. It almost makes me regret some of like being that cautious and being that closed-minded almost freshman year and even sophomore year of like if I could go back in time I would take more advantage of things. I would get more involved in the clubs that I was in. I would try and talk with people more so that I didn't stay in my dorm all the time. On one hand, it's like, yay, I got to graduation. I finished my degree. I studied well for the most part, and I got to that stage. On the other hand, it's like maybe if I had one more year, I could do a couple more things I wanted to do. I could have a couple more experiences that I should have had freshman, sophomore year. Um, so there's some missed opportunities, but at the end of the day, I made it, and I'm happy that I did.
Probably going out, trying new things, just exploring and meeting people and building a network slowly. I'll find some people in the clubs and get to know them, but also some events I just go to and then I meet people who have common interests. Probably finding some friends in it because a lot of freshmen they come in with high school friends. So it's harder to find people and meet up with them because they're more likely to stick with their high school friends. I didn't come in to college with any friends, nobody from high school. I just came in, I was going to meet new people because I wanted to kind of just put my high school behind too. And then struggles, I would say, was probably finding people to study with or just like figuring out how to study for certain subjects. Probably my clubs because I'm getting involved in a lot. Like the Mafia Club, the films club, I did a lot already in it. And then I got to do the haunted house for the walking project just to kind of get more started on acting that since it's my minor. Mm-hmm. That's like the main things. And then I also attended the fencing clubs and it's very welcoming there. Mm-hmm. So it's more of the clubs I've been involved in. It's kind of ready. I really didn't have like main friends. Probably socializing and making friends because a lot of them like have ideas but they don't know how to go about it or they're afraid to go and try and possibly embarrass themselves. They don't want to do that.
To help Talia and Kathan navigate these unique transition periods in their lives, we had them meet up to discuss how they were feeling.
Just when I think back to freshman year, a lot of the regret that I had was not taking advantage of being in a new place, of being an individual. You know, I purposely chose Miami because I wanted to be away from my family. I didn't want to have to rely on my family back home, parents, brothers. to decide what to do, what clubs to join, things like that. And I didn't take full advantage of it, of realizing I'm here 4 hours away from home. I could do whatever I want, really.
I would say having the support of my family while being here is helpful because they are helping explain certain things in that because my parents went through that, especially my mom because she moved countries and that, so she went through it by herself and wanted to make sure it was comfortable for me. While I may be a person that they would only help me when I asked for it. And I think that was like the most important part with helping me since I wanted to have the independence but still support if I needed it.
You can't force it, is what I had to learn. I thought freshman year and a little bit into sophomore year, if I joined as many clubs as I could, I would have an excuse to talk to people and I would have an excuse to get out of my dorm and make friends. And that is true. That helped me socialize a little more. But you can't force growing a network. You can't force meeting people. You can't force making friends. That has to come naturally.
For me, I would say I've been trying to focus on just meeting people, getting to know people, and just kind of letting it go from there, depending on if we have interests that are in common that with each time we meet in that, and then seeing if it goes further
Mhm.
to a friendship or if it just stays as acquaintances, you know. And I think yeah, it's important to not force it and just kind of focus on what you want to do because you'll find people with the same interest or like clubs and that.